Alright, so now we get into the interesting run. Can this amp do its rated power at 1200 watts at 1 ohm? So we're going to find out. Here's another shot of the exterior. You can see it kind of has a marbleized finish like a bowling ball. Sort of a black with some gray marbleization in it. It's a very nice looking amp. It's also very heavy. It's around 25 pounds. It's a lot of weight. Show you what we got going on this end. We have a protection light. We have the RCA inputs for channel 1 and 2. This bridges the amplifier. It's only a mono output, so just lets you take two inputs in, it sums them together. There's a phase switch, high level input, which is a joke, gain control, and then there's your 12 dB crossover, 65 Hertz full or 80 Hertz. And there's a power LED. And on the opposite end we have the speaker outputs, which these will accept 10 gauge or so wire. You can see it says parallel mono. What that means is you can't get all of your load on one of the sides here. You actually have to use both of the channels because they're bridged internally to get your load. So in order to give this a 1 ohm load to give maximum power, you have to do either two 2 ohm speakers or four 4 ohm speakers, and you have to run, you know, your 2 ohms per side to get your 1 ohm load. And thankfully, this one was actually upgraded by Shawn King to accept 4 gauge. He has 4 gauge wire coming directly out. The terminals in these earthquake amps are horrible in the fact that most of them take like 6 gauge wire, so you can't really get 4 gauge in there. So I'm glad that he extended out a good run of nice 4 gauge wire here. And also the remote turn on there is in the middle. And then we have a fan here, which the fan pulls the warm air out of the amp. Alright, so here's the guts of the Earthquake 40 UHC. This amp has been completely reconditioned by Shawn King. You can see the description below for Shawn's information. If you have old school Class AB amps, Shawn is your man. He'll get you all fixed up. Very nice looking board. This amp was received pretty beat up, so he had to completely rebuild it. As you can see, he's very meticulous. He stands all the components upright. Everything looks really nice. Recapped, rebuilt the channels, tested it, made sure everything was good before he sent it out. So looks really good on the inside. So let's see what she can do on the outside. What's up, guys? Here we have the Earthquake Power 40 UHC. Here on the Amp Dyno, we're going to run some tests. So let's try it out. Got her all warmed up, so let's see how she does. Alright, first run here with the Earthquake 40 UHC. We're going to do a 4 ohm run. It's rated at 40 watts. We're running a 40 hertz track first. We'll try a 1 kilohertz track also to see how it does. We're feeding it plenty of voltage, as you can see, 14.91 volts. Okay. Does a little bit more than 40 watts. We got 343 watts at 14.56 volts. Alright, so now we have the amp hooked up with 2 separate 4 ohm connections, because according to Earthquake, this is the way the amp has to run. It sort of bridges itself internally. You have to hook up both sides, so we have to run this in 2 channel mode. So we'll just add the 2 channels together and that'll give us our power here. So we're going to do a 2 channel run at 4 ohms, and we'll just take both of the channels again and we'll add them together. So let's see, it's rated at 600 watts. So we're expecting over 300 watts per side. Okay. 300 watts and 283, so we're a little bit under the rated power. It's rated to do 600 total, so we're getting about 583 at 14.27 volts. Alright, so now we get into the interesting run. Can this amp do its rated power at 1200 watts at 1 ohm, which is going to be 2 ohms per channel here, since the amp bridges the loads internally. So we're going to find out. We're not going to be able to keep our voltage up around 14 and a 14.4 like the amp probably is rated at, but we'll see. We've seen burst sheets on these and know what earthquake rates them at. Okay. Looks like we hit that 1% THD pretty quick, so it'll probably be interesting to see what the clipping is. 471 and 445, so we're just a little over 900 watts. It's rated at 1200, so that's a little disappointing. But let's try the uncertified, because there's probably some additional THD for loading this amp down. But let's try it out. Let's try the uncertified, see if it does better. Okay, we'll go uncertified, 2 channels, 2 ohms with the Earthquake 40 UHC Gold. Rated 1200 watts. We're not sure what the THD at that rating is, but let's see what we can get here. Not rated. 462, 437 at clipping 2 ohms per channel, which is a 1 ohm load on the amp, 13.71 volts. Again, no 1200 watts here, friends. All right, let's try the dynamic run for the Earthquake 40 UHC. We're gonna do 2 ohms per channel, which is a 1 ohm load on the amp. We're gonna run the 40 hertz test first. We'll do the 1 kilohertz here shortly. Check out the differences so we can get closer to that 1200 watts. Well, we got over 1,000. $1,069 watts. 13.9 volts. If you enjoy my amp dyno tests and would like to be part of the super secret Old School Stereo Club, please visit patreon.com/oldschoolstereo. You can help support me with as little as $1 per month. This helps for the supplies, for the electricity, for things that I need for the labs, plus it gives you some behind the scenes footage and some extra things that not everybody else gets to see. My videos will always be free, but if you have a little extra and you'd like to help me out, I greatly appreciate it. On to the results. Alright, and again for comparison here, we're going to do track 9 and run that certified, which is a 1 kilohertz track, and put a 1 ohm load on the amp. We're running again 2 channels because of the way the amp works. So this is like running 2 ohm subs to get you the 1 ohm load on the amp. Alright, 508, 506 and 480. So we're close to 1,000 watts, 13.8 volts, 1 kilohertz. Alright, now let's run a dynamic run, 2 ohms per channel. And this is at 1 kilohertz, again, which is useless for real world tests, but since a lot of the amp manufacturers use this for burst sheets and stuff like that, then we're going to use it here. See if we can get that 1200 watts that it's rated at. Oh, so close. Come on, Earthquake. You can do it. Oh, not quite. 587 and 556. 13.9 volts. So Not quite there. Over 1100 watts. We're pretty close. 1140-ish or so watts. 13.97, rated at 1200, so oh well, it's what it is. Earthquake 40 UHC gold. She sure is mighty pretty. Alright, and here we have the results of the Earthquake 40 UHC. This amp was made back in the days when cheater amps ran rampant. You can see rated 40 watts at 4 ohms, which was a joke, so it could cheat in the cheater classes. Got about 343 watts at 1% THD. The 2 ohm rating didn't do quite as well. It almost got the rating at 1% THD. Got a little bit over in the other two modes. And then we got to 1 ohm. We're expecting to see 1200 watts from this amp. And 1% distortion was pretty much disappointing at 916 watts. Then we thought, well, hey, let's try 1 kilohertz. Maybe that's what they rated this amp at, which is probably most likely how they rated it. Still didn't get there, even dynamically, 1143 watts. Overall, the amp did well, but no 1200 watts here, folks. Thanks as always for watching my videos. Please click here to subscribe and share with your friends, whoever likes amp tests, car audio, things like that. Click here or watch some of my old videos. I'd appreciate your support. This is Big D Wiz, oldschoolstereo.com. Until next time, I'm out of here.